we're very fortunate. Hancock County and Henderson County have 2 of only 7 operating smelters in this country today. In the last 12 years, over 12 smelters have disappeared, have shut their doors and ceased operations, and that has been primarily due to rising power costs. In an aluminum smelter, electrical power, the electrical bill is over about 33% of the total operating cost. So it's huge. You're talking an electric bill in the ballpark of $150, $160 million a year for an aluminum smelter. So any increase in that can have a significant impact on total operating costs. There's a lot of work going on right now with Big Rivers and the Rio Tinto smelter in Sebree and the Century smelter in Hallsville. These 2 operations employ over 1,200 people. The average wage in a smelter is about $62,000 a year. The benefit package in those operations is worth about $30,000. So you're talking about a $90,000 value job that has a huge trickle-down effect in this region. And so maintaining the viability of these smelters is, in many cases, job 1 from an economic development standpoint for Kevin and I. And we're working hard with our state legislature and with the smelters and with Big Rivers to find a win-win solution, because both these industries are absolutely critical. And I say both, talking about the aluminum smelters as well as the power company. Those are absolutely indispensable to the continued economic prosperity of our region. These are complex problems. The legislature has been involved in that this year. They have approved monies for a study to be done through the auspices of the PSC to look at the issues and look for solutions. And then there are also ongoing meetings between the 3 parties to try to arrive at a win-win solution. So increased power costs will continue to be an issue because, as I said, we are fortunate to enjoy nationwide very competitive industrial power costs. Increased EPA regulation. That's something that all of our industries are dealing with, and certainly the power. That's a big part of the power issue. Utility MAC regulation, which will require substantial investment by our power companies in order to be in compliance with new EPA regulation. I've said it before, I've been involved in a lot of board meetings and a lot of executive meetings in the aluminum industry for 25 years. And not one time did I ever hear a CEO or executive, and certainly in my role at plant level, ask me, what are we doing today to burn the atmosphere up in your area? That's just not on the agenda. Nobody wants to do harm to that. So we're constantly trying to find a balanced approach to protecting the environment, but also protecting the economic impact of these jobs and these businesses. So increased EPA regulation will continue to be a challenge as we go forward. I don't think there's any easy answer to that as well. The state of Kentucky is very much at the forefront in dealing with environmental protection agencies and the regulations of those groups. Our coal is absolutely critical to us in both our aluminum industries and our power. 92% of the electricity generated in the state comes from coal. So any regulations affecting the availability and use of that coal can have an impact. Exiting workforce. This is a new one for us from an economic development situation. In the past, I know as a plant manager, it was basically almost as simple as just announcing to your local career center or putting an ad in the paper, you need people, and 400 people would show up. We're moving into a much more advanced technology and skill in our manufacturing plants today. We are losing our current workforce, especially the skilled workforce, and the 3 largest industries in Hancock County We are projecting, based on the data we have, we're losing about 42% of our skilled maintenance and electrical technicians in our industries in the next 36 months. And that clock's been running now for about a year. If you just look at the newspaper on any given Sunday, you'll see industries. We're having industries from northern Alabama, Missouri advertising in our local paper for electricians. These are becoming critical issues as our workforce gets older. Unlike Kevin, we're going to see more and more attrition, baby boomers retiring, and we've got some challenges ahead of us to educate and train our younger folks to be able to step in and handle these jobs. If nobody shows up on Monday morning to operate plants, it won't make any difference what the power costs. So that's going to continue to be a big issue. Global competition, you could talk for hours about that. One of the areas that is getting some conversation in the smelter issue. We're fortunate in these two smelters produce a higher quality of aluminum than most other smelters in the U.S. The quality of that aluminum, the purity of that aluminum, goes into a lot of Department of Defense contracts. It goes into our military aircraft. It goes into our military armor for Humvees and some of the products there. Today, if we continue to lose U.S. capacity, we're going to put ourselves in a situation, you know where the two largest smelters in the world are being built today and will be operational in the next year? Bahrain. The Mideast is where this technology's going. That's where the investment's going. And that's where the products are going to be. So the U.S. could be in a position where, for some of these critical product needs, we are going hand in hand to Mideast countries to procure that product. So I think we need to be very, very careful on how we proceed there.
But the opportunities. We have great sites throughout this region. Probably some of the best industrial sites in all of Kentucky can be found throughout northwest Kentucky. And whether that's in sites like Morganfield and Sturgis and Seabury, or the 4-Star Park, which I'll talk about in a moment, or Henderson River Park, we have great sites, which, as we look at companies starting to build now, really puts us, I think, in a competitive position. There is probably the best available plug-and-play facility, and for that, that's related to call centers, in the Southeast, really. And that's not just my marketing and ad skills going there. That's true. It is available in Morganfield, and I think we're going to see some things happen with that facility. We have the 4 Rs, rail, river, roads, and runways that we have access to and that are moving in the right direction. That manufacturing culture that Mike talked about. People understand the value of manufacturing. The success of Kentucky United, you know, if the state can't go do the marketing, who's going to do it? Well, we've seen this growth of the statewide marketing cooperative to be able to go and tell. And I'm going to mention in a moment about what we're doing together in this region to market. And then 4-Star Park, which I'm a little biased for it as being the best industrial park in Kentucky. But it has the newest foreign trade zone, 800 acres in a foreign trade zone. It's the only regional park in the Commonwealth to have a foreign trade zone. We've now just about finished all the infrastructure throughout the park. One of the challenges for several years in marketing 4-Star was in issues to mineral rights, and that has been resolved within the last year. So I think that park's really well situated. Partnership. In case you didn't know, and I promise we're almost done, economic development organizations usually don't partner together. We're competing with each other, we're not partners. But in this region, Northwest Kentucky Forward, Greater Owensboro EDC, and Hancock County Industrial Foundation really do work together well and often. We work together in Frankfort. I can pretty much guarantee you that if an issue is coming up at some point or another that relates to economic development, or aluminum, or angel investing, or workforce, probably one of our 3 organizations, if not all 3, are there testifying. I think I figured out between the 3 of us in the last 2 years, we've testified somewhere close to 30 times to different committees in Frankfort, or we've been asked to come and share information, which is great for our region because our region's been recognized as being a place to go and get information that's important. part of what we do is we can't depend on the state to go market, so we're going to go tell our story. And we're partnering with Greater Owensboro and going out and doing some events to market our greater region. And we're having great success. We're getting ready to do our second event for consultants. We're going to do it in Atlanta at the end of the month. We've had such a great turnout, we've had to tell our consultant who's working on it with us to stop making calls because I've now filled the room past capacity. I'm not real sure where we're going to be when it comes to that. But there's a tremendous amount of interest, and so we're being very aggressive about going out. And we know that regardless of where a company lands, if they land in our region, we all benefit. And we're going out together to tell that story. We're aligning with each other on issues and initiatives and programs. We're not duplicating what each other does. And an example of that, Madison Silver, who works for Greater Owensboro EDC, who runs the ICC, let me throw my initials out here today, but really focused on growing high growth businesses in our region. Spoke to the GRADD EDC board meeting today. And we're going to partner, and we do partner, even when we weren't supposed to, we still partner with Madison. We're not going to compete, we're not going to try to do something on our own, we're going to use that resource. Conversely, we have resources at Northwest Kentucky through our partnership with Community Ventures to encourage small business development that Owensboro and Hancock County take advantage of. And so instead of duplicating efforts, we're making sure that we're aligning efforts and that we're doing things together and we partner on those things. One of the things that I'm very proud of is we've got a new entrepreneurship center, a new small business incubator that we're going to be opening soon in Henderson. We've received $150,000 in grant funding. Now, some of the judges and things on my board may be going, that was $100,000. We're very excited that probably in about another week we're going to officially announce that we've received another $50,000 to go towards that project. And we're very excited about what that'll mean to help entrepreneurs in our region in growing our own businesses. It complements what's being done here in Owensboro. Again, that idea that we're not competing, but that we're complementing and we're growing a better region. And we have a new loan program that hopefully by midsummer will be online. The low interest loan program, but it will complement the loans that are available here through GRADD. And finally, I spoke yesterday to a group of accountants. They were a lively bunch, by the way. And they wanted to know lots of statistics. So there's some statistics I pulled in particular on Henderson, but I think we can see value in that across the region and maybe give us some real optimism about things going on. For Northwest Kentucky, when I say the region, the 4 counties we serve, our 20 largest employers last year added over 900 jobs. That's more than 10% of their employment were added in 2011. I think that's great. We see things moving in the right direction. 16% of the existing businesses that we serve announced an expansion last year. Henderson County building permits increased 21% in 2011. The highest level since 2006. So people are starting to build again. That's almost, unfortunately, it's not homes, but it's a lot of commercial industrial building. And so people are investing. We're seeing that taking place. And these last two numbers, I think, are the most interesting. The Henderson Audubon Board of Realtors reported almost as many homes were sold in the first quarter of this year as sold in all of 2011 or 2010. 88%. And if you take the number of homes that closed in the first quarter or were sale pending, it's 154% of all the homes sold last year. So probably by this point, they've sold more homes than they sold all of last year. And that's important because we know how much home ownership, the real estate market, drives other portions of our economic development. Not just in our region, but in our country. Because then that means people are buying other assets, other things that they need for the homes, or investing in homes. Hopefully then, we'll begin to see home building really get up and get going again. So I think those are incredibly exciting numbers and that we'll continue to see moving forward. Mike and I certainly appreciate your time today and to listen as we talked about our region and what's going on. And we want you to know that your economic development efforts are working together to build a better Northwest, a better. Thank you all.